Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. Um, we are going to take a look at newspapers and their headlines today. As you all know, it is election season, and so there has been news of endorsements and denials of endorsement by various politicians. But recently on the news is the story about the endorsement of Peter Obi by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and politicians have been reacting to the news of the endorsement. So we have a story here on the front page of The Guardian, which says APC PDP denounce OBJ's letter endorsing Obi. OBJ is former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and the story says a letter says LP candidate has age over Tinubu and take orders. APC Presidential Campaign Commission pities Obi over wordless ratification. OBJ can win polling unit. Word in Abeokuta for Obi. Former president merely expressing personal opinion, says PDP, and it is worthless. This is how the APC Campaign Council describes this endorsement of Peter Obi by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. So we are going to look at that story and see what it says. The two major political parties in the country, APC and PDP, are reacting to the endorsement of the candidate of the third force, which is the Labour Party, whose candidate is Peter Obi, by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. So let's take a look at that story and see what. Let's take a look at the story and see what politicians are saying. We have a front runners. So this is the story here. We have a front runners. So this is Peter Obi. Peter Obi putting on black, and at the middle we have former President Olusegun Obasanjo. So let's take a look at the reactions from the major political parties. So we see it says the former leader, who over the years has become renowned for his later interventions at the eve of general elections, reached for the controversial pen once more yesterday, scribbling an endorsement of Obi. 54 days to the polls, Obasanjo declared Obi has an edge over APC's Bola Ahmed Tinubu, People Democratic Party's Atiku Abubakar, and New Nigeria Party's Rabiu Kwankwaso, among others. The letter, titled "My Appeal to All Nigerians, Particularly Young Nigerians," was released in Abeokuta, Ogun State by Olusegun Obasanjo's Special Assistant on Media, Mr. Kehinde Akinyemi. The former president said his decision was informed by his interactions with major contestants, whom he referred to as his mentees. He noted that Nigeria needs selfless, courageous, honest, patriotic, in short, outstanding leadership with character and the fear of God, beyond what we have had in recent past. As you all know, the Nigerian economy has not been doing well. Nigeria has and is faced with multiple problems on the economic front. There's issues with the economy. Security-wise, we are having issues. There's issue all round. And so the 2023 election is going to be a very major decider with regards to the direction in which Nigeria, will go. And so the former President Olusegun Obasanjo has endorsed the candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, but the two major political parties, APC and PDP, are not finding it interesting, and they are saying that the endorsement is worthless, and they say that the former president cannot win a polling booth for the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi. So continue with the story. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo lamented that the last 7.5 years of President Buhari have no doubt been eventful and stressful for many Nigerians. We have moved from frying pan to fire and from mountain top to the valley. Our leaders have done their best, but their best has turned out to be not the best for Nigeria and Nigerians at home and abroad. For most Nigerians, it was hell on earth, he said. Obasanjo urged the need to brace ourselves for the remaining few months of the current administration and pray and work very hard for an immediate better future of liberation, restoration, and great hope and expectation. Explaining the reason behind this decision, and he said none of the contestants is a saint, but when one compares their character, antecedent, their understanding, knowledge, discipline, and vitality that they can bring to bear, and the great efforts required to stay focused on the job, particularly looking at where the country is today, and with the experience on the job that I personally had, Peter Obi, as a mentee, has an edge. Obasanjo continued, others like us have what they can contribute to the new dispensation, to liberation, restoration, and salvaging Nigeria collectively. So this is it. This is endorsement of Peter Obi by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He says Peter Obi is not perfect, but from his interaction with all the major political party candidates, that Peter Obi, stands a better chance, and Peter Obi is, more qualified. So that is one of the stories from the Guardian newspaper today. And we'll take a look at other stories from the Guardian newspaper. Let's take a look at other stories from the Guardian newspaper. So that is the endorsement of Peter Obi by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. So let's see what other stories we have. We have a story here that says Jonathan, Lawal, Douglas, others make list of 100 most reputable Africans. Then we have a story here that says Knox, as 12-year-old, 12.8 billion constitutional review investment fails. Then we have a story here that says NBA raises panel over Raheem Brimer's death. As you all know, an incident happened on Christmas Day. A lawyer was shot dead by a policeman on duty, and this lawyer was expecting twins. She was killed in front of her family, in front of her husband, and in front of her kids. And so the Nigerian Bar Association, which is the umbrella body for lawyers, in Nigeria, has raised a panel to look over and look into the issues. Then we have another story here that says Serap sues Wike Okowa over 625 billion naira lagis. SERA is a civil society organization that tries and strives to make sure that we have good governance in Nigeria, and so they're usually on the lookout to make sure that politicians do the right thing, and so they are suing Wiki and Okowa over 625 billion naira lagis. So let's take a look at this story here about the NBA raising a panel to look into the death of Raheem and Brimo. Let's see what they are saying, because over the years we have had issues where things like this happen and they are swept under the rug. So Nigerians are very vigilant this time around to make sure that the erring policeman is brought to book. And so this is the This is the lawyer who was killed in front of her kids and her husband. Such a beautiful lady. This is late Mrs. Rahim. The Nigerian Bar Association has continued a nine-member has constituted, I beg your pardon, a nine-member ad hoc committee to probe into the murder of female lawyer Mrs. Bola Rahim and Gafaru Ibrahim, killed by police officers in Lagos, Nigeria. A statement by the National Publicity Secretary Akorede Habib Lawal reads in part, "We start by acknowledging that nothing we do will ever be enough to bring back our late member, Mrs. Rahim. Whoever believes that our strong and unwavering pursuit of justice in this case may mean that another Nigerian will not have to lose his or her life in the illegal, unlawful, and unjust manner that Rahim's life was taken." The NBA noted that since Rahim's passage, the police authorities have refused to disclose the identity of the killer, demanding immediate disclosure. Consequently, the NBA president Yakubu Chonoko Mikiu established an open communication with police authorities over the incident. So that is it. The Nigerian Bar Association has raised a panel to look into the deaths of these two people to put the Nigerian police force on its toes and to make sure that things are done according to law, and that the people who have murdered these innocent people, these innocent citizens, are brought to book. We cannot continue like this. We cannot continue to have instances where police commits crime and they go scot-free. They have had instances and cases where people are shot dead by the police and the police absconds and nothing is done. But the death of this particular person, there was national outrage, and so it is now difficult for the police to sweep this under the rug. So I hope that justice is served. I hope that justice is done. And I pray that the soul of Mrs. Rahim, rest in peace. And I also pray that God will give the family the fortitude to bear the loss. So that is that for this story. And that is that for the Guardian newspaper. Let's take a look at other newspapers. Let's take a look at the Daily Trust newspaper and see what stories you can get from the Daily Trust newspaper. This is the Daily Trust newspaper. Let us see what stories you can get from the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper today. We have a story that says 2023, Buala denies claims of 11 APC governors working for Atiku. Then we have a story here that says Wiki mocks Atiku over Obasanjo's endorsement of Obi for president. Then we have a story here that says Obasanjo desperately envious of Tinubu. That's coming from Gaba Show. Then we have a story here that says Nigerian newspapers, 10 things you need to know. Nigerian newspapers, 10 things you need to know. Then we have a story here that says Huriwa condemns military invasion of Imo community over famous soldiers rescue. Another story here says 2023, Nigeria needs leaders that will deliver functional system. Web member Pella. Then a story here says Kovedo Ido ex-commissioner's death, a huge blow, says Osun speaker. Then another story here says New Year, Governor El Rufai pardons 11 prisoners. And from Still the front page of a daily trust newspaper, we have a story here that says Co Co Akeredolu pardons 7 death row inmates. Akeredolu pardons 7 death row inmates. Akeredolu is governor of Ondo State, and he has pardoned 11 death row inmates. So let's see what other story we have. We have Tinubu's visit to Obasanjo, show of peace, sees APC. Then you have a story here that says stop attacking Obasanjo for endorsing Peter Obi. Shehu Sani tells opposition. As we all know, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has endorsed Peter Obi, and he has come under attack from the two major political parties. And so, this is a former senator. He's asking that people should stop attacking the former president for endorsing Peter Obi. So we have a story that says PDP petitions police DSS demands arrest of Kano party chairman for impersonation. 2023, you are a paperweight. Endorsement of Peter Obi worthless. Tinubu blasts Obasanjo. And another story here says 2023, recover Nigeria from those dragging it into doldrums. PDPs are dealing a coup to Nigerians. So let's start from this story that says Wiki mocks Atiku over OBJ's endorsement. Wiki is the current governor of Rivers State, and Atiku Abubakar is the presidential candidate of the PDP. Atiku and Wiki have had issues after Atiku won the presidential primaries of the People's Democratic Party. Him and the governor of Rivers State have been at loggerheads, and so the governor of Rivers State has now taken a swipe at Atiku Abubakar. He has taken a swipe at Atiku Abubakar. So let us see, what he's saying. Let's see what Wiki is saying. Wiki mocks Atiku over Obasanjo's endorsement of Peter Obi for president. So the man on the red cap is Wiki, governor of Rivers State, and the man on I don't know what color to call this cap. Okay, it's purple. It has purple and white stripes. That's Atiku Abubakar, former vice president of Nigeria. Governor Nyesom Wiki of Rivers State has mocked the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, over the endorsement of Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. The governor said the move by Obasanjo, who refused to endorse Atiku, shows that there is something fundamentally wrong with Atiku, who was Obasanjo's vice president from 1999 to 2003. The governor said it was funny that the engineer of the same legacies upon which Atiku was campaigning failed to recommend him but instead endorsed Obi. He was speaking during the flagging off of a road project in Emwa local government area of his state, Rivers State. Wike said, if you are a bad product, you are a bad product. If you are a good product, you are a good product. You worked under somebody. The person has recommended to the Nigerians another person. Is it me? I worked with somebody for 8 years. Sorry for that. I worked with somebody for 8 years, and we are using it as a campaign that when we were in office, we did well. Then my boss is recommending another person to be there. Something is fundamentally wrong. I was praying that the Obasanjo will not say anything. When I saw the letter last night, I was touched. So this is Wiki mocking Atiku Abubakar. So that is a story coming from Daily Trust newspaper. Let's see what other stories we have coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. Let's take a look at some other stories here. We have a story that says 2023, I pity you. Obasanjo can't win his polling unit. Tinubu blast Peter Obi over endorsement. So let's see what Tinubu is saying. Tinubu is the presidential candidate of the APC, and he says, "I pity you." He pities Peter Obi over endorsement from Olusegun Obasanjo. Let's see what that story is saying. That's a major story coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. I pity you. Obasanjo can't win his polling unit. Tinubu blasts Peter Obi over endorsement. The All Progressive Congress APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu says he pities his Labour Party LP counterpart Peter Obi following his endorsement by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Tinubu said Obasanjo cannot win his polling units, hence it is a risk for Obi associating with the former president. Speaking to the Director of Media and Publicity of the APC Campaign Council, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, Tinubu said nobody in Ogun State could rely on Obasanjo to become governor or councillor. The APC presidential candidate noted that the former president has never succeeded in making anybody become president in Nigeria. A statement by Onanuga reads, "From our record, Obasanjo has not successfully, made anyone win an election in Nigeria." But it is interesting for you to note that the APC, who are now criticizing former President Olusegun Obasanjo for endorsing Peter Obi, went to visit him in his house asking for his endorsement. But it is funny that they have now turned around to say his endorsement is worthless and his endorsement is meaningless, since he did not endorse their party or their candidate and endorsed the party and the candidate of somebody of some other party. They have now turned to say the endorsement is worthless, but yet they went to his house to visit him and to ask for his endorsement. It is funny indeed, but that is the situation on ground, and that is politics. So we have elections coming up very soon, and politicians are scheming and doing a lot of things, positioning themselves to try and win the elections. So that is the situation. The former Lagos State governor said that Obasanjo has endorsed Atiku of the PDP in 2019 elections against Buhari. He however noted that even with the support, Buhari defeated Atiku by a wide margin. So that is the story coming from the front page of the Daily Post newspaper. So let's see what other stories that we have. Coming from the Daily Post newspaper this politics season. And so we have a lot of political stories. So a story coming from the front page of the Daily Post is Obasanjo desperately envious of Tinubu. That's coming from Garba Shehu. Garba Shehu was a former contestant for the presidential elections, I think in 2019. Yes, he was one of the candidates who contested for that election. He's saying that Obasanjo's endorsement is amounts to what? Envy. But I wonder why Obasanjo will envy Tinubu. Obasanjo is a former president and Tinubu is trying to get to that position, so I do not see how Obasanjo will envy Tinubu. I do not see how that's supposed to play out. So let's see what this story is saying. Stop attacking Obasanjo for endorsing Peter Obi. Shehu Sani tells opposition. So Shehu Sani is a former senator representing Kaduna State in the Senate. and he has asked politicians to stop attacking former President Olusegun Obasanjo for endorsing Peter Obi of the Labour Party. So this is Shehu Sani, former senator representing Kaduna State. A former lawmaker urged aggrieved politicians to stop attacking Olusegun Obasanjo over his decision to endorse the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, in the forthcoming polls. You recall that Obasanjo in his New Year message said that he was supporting the Anambra governor because he had an edge over other candidates vying for Nigeria's top job. Supporters of the APC presidential candidates and the PDP and his PDP counterpart have expressed anger over the public endorsement. Reacting to the controversy, Shehu Sani opined that the former president is entitled to his own opinion, stressing that he should not be attacked for the choice that he has made. In a tweet on his official Twitter handle, Shehu Sani noted that Obasanjo has made his choice. He is entitled to his opinion. He should not be attacked. Those who can't get his endorsement should seek that of Gowon, IBB, or Abdulsalami. They are equally credible former military leaders. Ordinary president of Brigade also available. That's funny. So that is a statement coming from Shehu Sani, former lawmaker representing Kaduna State. And I cannot help but agree with him. Obasanjo has just expressed his opinion and he has just made his choice known. So other people, other presidential aspirants can, get the endorsement of other people, other former presidents if they so desire. So let's see what other stories we have. Okay, we have a story that says a PDP petitions police. DSS demands arrest of Kanu party chairman for impersonation. Let's see what that story is saying. Let's see what that story is saying. Let's see what that story is saying. The People's Democratic Party has petitioned the DSS, the police, and other relevant security agencies to quickly arrest and bring before the law the Kanu chairman Shehu Sagagi for impersonation and contempt of court. The critical committee of the party tasked the security to nip the said occurrence in the bud and arrest Sagagi immediately. In an emergency press conference in Kanu, the secretary of the Kano PDP Technical Committee, Abelawal Aliu, drew the attention of the police to an appeal court judgment that set aside the Sagagi-led executive, thereby returning the party to the status quo before a federal high court judgment that put them in place. He explained further that following the judgment of the appeal court, the Sagagi-led faction further appealed the matter at the Supreme Court, and the case had been adjourned to November 20, 2023, insisting that the party leadership in the state is no more under him. He made reference to the incidences where Sagagi addressed himself as the council chairman of the PDP, including live programs on national television, thereby violating the order of the appeal court. So this is an issue that pertains to the Kano State PDP. The chairman was, removed by the court. He appealed the decision, but he still continues to address himself as the chairman. And so the critical committee is saying that he's no longer the chairman, and they're asking that the police should, take actions to stop him from parading himself as the chairman. So that's the internal, affairs of the PDP in Kano State. I wonder how this will affect the elections between the APC and the PDP in Kano State. Let's see how that will play out. So that is coming from the front page of the Daily Post newspaper. So let's see what other stories we have from the Daily Post before we move to another newspaper. Let's see what other we have a story that says 3 arrested over attempt to kill police traffic officer driver in Ogun. Let's see. See a story here says Nigerian Startup Act can tackle hurdles entrepreneurs face in Nigeria. SPAC to FG. Then we have a story here that says the NNPC and security operatives have destroyed a barge with stolen crude oil on the outer state. Nigeria continues to face theft of crude oil, and recently the Nigerian security operatives have come down in full force, on the thieves who are stealing Nigerian crude oil. And this recent story says they have destroyed the barge with stolen crude oil on the outer state. I hope that they keep the tempo up and they continue to do things to get rid of these thieves who steal our crude oil and reduce the money entering the national purse. So those are the major stories. On the Daily Post newspaper. We'll be checking other newspapers to see what they have and what they are saying. Checking other newspapers to see what they have and what they are saying today. Let's see what the Punch newspaper is saying. Okay, we have a story here that says Bajabiamila plans removal of Honorable from Rep's designation. Bajabiamila is a Speaker, House of Representatives, and so here says he's planning to remove the designation of Honorable. I wonder if his fellow members of the House of Reps will agree with him. Members of the House of Representatives may no longer be addressed as Honorables as Speaker. Femi Bajabiamila has sponsored a bill seeking to change the lawmakers' appellation to representatives. The legislation is titled A Bill for an Act to Amend the Legislative House's Powers and Privileges 2017. Already members in the Ninth House, including the Speaker, have been using Rep before their names instead of Honorables or Hon that has been in use for ages. Bajabiamila is now seeking to legalize the change in the address on the designation of a member through the bill. Well, I would like to have your thoughts on that. What do you think? Do you think they should keep calling them Honorable, or should we just call them Reps? Does it really affect the kind of performance you get from them? I think Nigerians do not mind whether you want to call yourself a Honorable or you want to call yourself a Rep. What Nigerians do care about is that you deliver on your promises and that you go there, you get the job done, and make life, easy for the generality of Nigerians. That's what Nigerians care about. So that is coming from the front page of a Punch newspaper. And we have other newspapers that we are going to be looking at. Let's see. So coming from the Daily Post, we have this story that says breaking Buhari signs 2023 budget into law. We have another headline that says 2023 polls could place Nigeria's economy in stagnation. Experts warn. Then we have a story that says Soludo reacts to killing of Obosi PG, several others in Anambra. Then another story says 5 killed, 4 injured as driver rams into party in Oyo State. Then still on politics, we have a story here that says speaking truth to power, not New Year prophecies, should be men of God's focus. That's coming from Pastor Giwa. Then reverse increment on third-party vehicle insurance fees. Association urges NICOM. Then I have also here that says in 2023, clergyman warns Nigerians against selling PVCs to politicians. Then I have also here that says destruction of our billboards may cause violence. Cross River PDP warns. Then also here says 2023 election, Okowa denies between Southern Presidency agreement. Then we have also here that says 2023 prophecies. Prophet Iginla reviews God's mind for Tinubu, Peter Obi, Wiki, and Nnamdi Kanu. So let's take a look at this story here that talks about Okowa. Okowa is the governor of Delta State in Nigeria, and he is currently the vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. He's been accused of betraying the South here, having taken up the post of vice president or vice presidential candidate to the PDP's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. So let's take a look at that story. I think he is defending himself at the moment. If you recall, the governors of the South held meetings in Lagos. They held meetings in Lagos. They held meeting in Asaba, which is the capital of Delta State, and they held meeting in another southeastern state, to demand that power must come back to the South. And they were unanimous in their call for power to come back to the South. So the governors of the South, many of them are now seeing Okowa as a betrayer because he now accepted to be the vice to a northerner who is vying for the post of a president. The governors believe that the presidency and power should shift to the South. And so one of the governors who held meetings with them now, taking up a vice presidential slot is betrayal. But Okowa is reacting. He's reacting to that, saying he's not a betrayal. So let's see what the story says. I just decided to give you a background of a story. Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has denied working against the agitation of the South to produce the next president via the 2023 elections. The vice presidential candidate of the PDP spoke on Monday through his chief press secretary, Olisa Ifeajika. Ifeajika told reporters in Asaba that Okowa honored PDP's decision concerning presidential convention. After a meeting in Asaba, Lagos, and Enugu, the Southern Governors Forum agreed to work towards the realization of a Southern presidency. Ifeajika noted that when they returned to their various parties, decisions varied regarding electing a candidate. The spokesperson of the PDP said the party made it clear to the governors that it may not go with their position. He recalled that the matter brought about a committee headed by Benue State Governor Sam Olotum to advise appropriately on zoning the ticket. The committee recommended that zoning be jettisoned. So this is it. The PDP after the meeting by the Southern governors now set up a committee to see how viable it is for their own party, and that committee in PDP was headed by the Benue State Governor Sam Olotum, and that committee now said no. So that is the issue. So people are saying that while the G5 governors and co are saying that the PDP did not do well, they are also saying that the Samuel Otom, who is the Benue State governor, was head of a committee that recommended that the position of president should not be zoned, to the south, that it should be thrown open, and that is what now resulted in Atiku Abubakar coming in to compete and winning the presidential slot. So that is the situation. That is just the situation of things. So Ifeanyi Okowa is defending himself, saying that he did not betray the South, that it was a party that threw the slot of the presidency open, and having won the presidential slot as the presidential candidate, I think Abubakar picked him and he had no choice than to agree. So that is Ifeanyi Okowa's position. I would like to know what you think of what of what Okowa said. You think Okowa betrayed the South? You think he betrayed the Southern governors? Let me know what you think in the comment section. So let's look at other stories coming from the front page of the Daily Post. Okay, let's see. This story says destruction of our billboards may cause violence. Cross River PDP ones. Okay, in Cross River State, the governor in Cross River State was formerly a member of the PDP, but he decamped to the ruling APC, and so the PDP, they are now complaining that their billboards are being destroyed and that they may have to resort to violence. The chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Cross River State, Venatius Ikem, has said that the ongoing destruction of their billboards will precipitate into actual violence in the state if it is not addressed. Ike bared his mind in an interview with the Daily Post in Calabar, the state capital, on Tuesday. But the state ruling party APC has also accused the PDP of one of the destruction of their own billboards in Cross River State. The governor Ben Ayade, who ordered security agencies to clamp down on the party supporters alleged to perpetrate the billboard destruction, leading to the alleged arrest of many PDP loyalists. So this is election season, and it's always accusation and counter-accusation. While the opposition party, the PDP, is accusing the governor of destroying their billboards, the governor is also accusing them of destroying billboards belonging to the ruling party. So we really do not know who is telling the truth and who is not. But I believe that my people who are resident in Cross River State will let us know who is telling the truth in the comment section. So let us know who is telling the truth between PDP and APC in Cross River State. Who is actually destroying billboards belonging to other parties? Is it PDP or it is APC? Ben Ayade has now, denied the allegation against his party, and is accusing the PDP of actually, the brain behind the destruction of billboards in the state. So let me know what you think, and let me know who the culprits really are in the comment section. Let's take a look at other major stories coming from the Daily Post. Let's see other stories coming from the Daily Post. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Let's see the story. 2023, Obasanjo not qualified as national hero. APC chieftain Felix Nicholas. Olusegun Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria, has come under fire since his endorsement of Peter Obi as president. Peter Obi is the candidate of the Labour Party and has been endorsed by the former president as his preferred choice. This is Olusegun Obasanjo. And so, members of the two major political parties, APC and PDP, have criticized this decision. And in this story, a member of the APC, Felix Nicholas, is claiming that Olusegun Obasanjo does not qualify to be counted among the nation's hero. Felix, who was a presidential aspirant under the party, made the claim while featuring on Channels Television on Wednesday. He said that Obasanjo endorsed Obi among other candidates, citing track record and performance. But he said that Obasanjo is not qualified to do that. And he said that Obasanjo is not also qualified to be called a national hero. He said he has done great things, but I don't think I will add him in our heroes past, according to the national anthem. So I'm not moved. We haven't moved, and we are moving on with our campaign because the same endorsement did not produce any results in 2019. We joined forces. So he is saying that Obasanjo endorsed somebody else in 2019, and that person did not win. So he's saying that irrespective of whoever Obasanjo has endorsed again, it will not have any effect. But 2019 and 2023 are two different situations altogether. Um, but let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that Obasanjo's endorsement of Obi carries weight, or you think it doesn't carry any weight? Since his endorsement of Obi, Obasanjo has come under criticism, has come under fire from the two major political parties, APC and PDP. And so this APC chieftain, Nicholas Felix, he is saying that Obasanjo's endorsement carries no weight and holds no water. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know what you think about that story. Let's see what other stories we have. Okay, we have a story coming from Rivers State, and this headline says something wrong with you. We will no longer tolerate your insolent tendencies. This is coming from PDP to Wike, Nelson Wike, governor of Rivers State. Nelson Wike is a governor of Rivers State and has been at loggerheads with Atiku Abubakar, who won the presidential primaries of the PDP. Wike feels cheated out and he feels that he has been betrayed, and so he has vowed not to support the candidacy of Atiku Abubakar. And so he has had several outbursts, and now his party, the PDP, is saying that his outbursts will no longer be tolerated. This is Nelson Wike, governor, Rivers State. Let's see what the story is saying. The People's Democratic Party has vowed that it will no longer keep mum on the constant outbursts by Rivers State Governor Nelson Wike against the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. Recall that Governor Nelson Wike, who had demanded the resignation of the PDP National Chairman Yochai as a condition to support Atiku in February elections, had on several occasions tackled the former vice president. On Monday, Wike, while reacting to the endorsement of the Labour Party by of Labour Party candidate Peter Obi by his former principal Olusegun Obasanjo, mocked Atiku, saying something must be fundamentally wrong. But reacting, the spokesperson of the presidential campaign for PDP, Senator Dino Melaye, said that Wike should be ashamed of himself. The statement reads, Wike should be ashamed that he has constantly solicited the attention of Atiku by his continuous disrespect and unwarranted insult of a man who did nothing to you. I advise him to support whoever he wishes to support, as long as we will no longer tolerate his insolent tendencies. The question is, there's something wrong with Wike that Amaechi did not hand over to him. So that's coming from the presidential spokesperson of the PDP, Senator Dino Melaye, saying that the party will no longer tolerate, Wike's attitude. But do you think that the PDP has the guts to call Wike to order? Do you think that they have the boldness? Do you think they have the will to call his bluff? That is the situation. Can Wike be disciplined in the PDP as it is right now? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's see what other stories that we have. Let's see what other stories we have. Let's see what other stories we have. We have a story here that says 2023. How your Peter Obi endorsement energizes us. Labour Party youth leader writes Obasanjo. Okay, so that's coming from the endorsement of the Labour Party candidate by Olusegun Obasanjo. The youth leader of Labour Party has written a letter to Olusegun Obasanjo saying how his own letter has energized them. So let's see what the youth leader of the Labour Party is saying in his own letter in response to that of the former president. Let's see. 2023. how your Peter Obi endorsement energizes us. Labour Party youth leader writes Obasanjo. So this is Olusegun Obasanjo. The Labour Party national youth leader Prince Kennedy Ahanotu has written an open letter to former President Olusegun Obasanjo to appreciate his endorsing of the party's candidate Peter Obi in the forthcoming polls. Obasanjo had on Sunday declared that the former Naba governor was his preferred presidential candidate. The endorsement generated reactions across the country from the PDP to the from the PDP to the APC, and the former president has come under attacks from several people. But in a letter of appreciation, the Labour Party leader opined that the endorsement by Obasanjo has energized the youth to take back their country from greedy politicians. Mr. Kennedy, who lamented that the APC government imposed hardship on Nigerian youth for the past 7 years, vowed that they would enforce change during the forthcoming elections. He said, I am pleased to inform you that we are further motivated, inspired, encouraged, re-energized, united, resolutely committed to stand up and take our future in our hands. It is always emboldening when a father stands in support of his children to succeed. Your letter to Nigerians, especially youths, is enough to spur us to stand for our rights and to vote without being biased along ethno-religious lines. With renewed energy and God being our helper, we shall make a statement come February. So this is the reply of the Labour Party leader to Obasanjo, thanking him for the endorsement and telling him that they have been energized. So that is it. Let's see what other stories we can take from the front page of the Daily Post. Let's see what other stories are there. Let's see what other stories are there. Let's see. I think we are out of political stories at the moment. I think we have looked at the political stories, but some headlines that are worthy to note is news from Katsina. Police kills terrorists and recover AK-47 rifle ammunition in Katsina. And the story here says 5 killed, 4 injured as driver ramps into party in Oyo community. Then we have some other stories there. We have a story here that says gunmen raid late Emir's residence, kidnap 5 in Kaduna community. Then what other stories we have? We have taken that story. Then we have clergyman warns Nigerians against selling PVCs to politicians. Okay, let's see what the clergyman is saying. Who the clergyman is. Clergyman warns Nigerians against selling PVCs to politicians. As you all know, some politicians, who have the intention to rig the forthcoming elections are, buying PVCs. They are buying PVCs with the intention to rig the elections. And so this clergyman is advising Nigerians not to sell their PVCs. The Secretary General of the Reformed Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, Reverend Cornelius Ike, tasked Nigerians to stop selling their PVCs to politicians. He urged Nigerians to use their voters' card wisely to install a credible government to avert living in regret for the next 4 years. He made this known through a statement signed and made available to newsmen by the media director Dr. Joseph Chukwu in Abakaliki, the capital of Benue State. According to him, this year's election is crucial and requires the participation of all registered voters to ensure that the right candidates are elected. He advised youth not to sell their voters' card and not to be like Esau in the Bible, who sold his birthright for a paltry pot of pottage and suffer the consequences afterwards. Your voter's card is your birthright and power. Use it wisely to install a credible government so that you will not live in regret for years to come. I think the clergyman is right. But the bad thing about it is that poverty has been weaponized in Nigeria. Politicians have created poverty and they have impoverished Nigerians so much so that a lot of Nigerians will be willing to sell their PVCs just to get 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira, just to buy some food. There's so much hungry in the land. There's so much poverty in the land that some people don't even care. They don't even mind, selling their PVCs just to get 1 or 2,000 naira. And there's nothing you can tell them because, somebody who has not eaten for a day or more and is hungry and somebody else is offering him 2,000 naira for his PVC, that kind of person will have no choice. Things are bad in some areas in the country. Things are really bad. Some unscrupulous politicians are taking advantage of the situation to buy PVCs. I just hope that with the advent of beavers, that they will not be able to make use of these PVCs that they are taking, and that the PVCs they are taking will be useless to them. I just hope so. That the PVCs they are taking will be useless to them. It's a sad situation, honestly. It's a very sad situation. The clergyman said it is a milestone in that it would be the first time in more than a decade that the actual population of Nigeria will be known, adding that it will usher in proper planning in all phases of governance. If you wish to be counted, it doesn't mean you don't count in Nigeria. So you must present yourself and your family to be counted when the time comes so that you will count in Nigeria. So that is just it. That's the story coming from the Daily Post. That's the story coming from the Daily Post. I agree with the clergyman. It is a sad situation. I just hope that Nigerians, are able to avoid the temptation of selling their, voters' cards. So let's see what other useful story or interesting story we have on the Daily Post. If we do not have any interesting story, we can move to other newspapers and see what they have on their front pages. We have a story here that says Salute to react to killing of Obosi PG, 5 killed and 4 injured as driver rams into party in Oyo. That's sad. The driver might have been probably drunk. Then we have a story here that says breaking. Buhari signs 2023 budget into law. The president has signed 2023 budget into law. Let's see what the story says. Let's see. This is Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that's him signing the budget into law. The budget is 21.8 trillion naira. Oh my goodness, that's a whole lot of money. And Daily Post reports that the budget that the president made the disclosure in a live broadcast on Tuesday. The president said that the signing will avoid delay in 2023 budget implementation. He urged the National Assembly to reconsider the decision of his administration's 23 trillion naira ways and means loan request. Also, Buhari tax ministries, department agencies, and institutions of government to gear up for the revenue generation process. As this administration draws to a close, we will celebrate the implementation of the critical measures aimed at further improving Nigeria's business environment and ensure the welfare of our people. So that is it. That's coming from Mr. President on the 2023 budget signing. So let's see what the other papers are saying. Let's look at the front page of the Punch. Let's see what the major stories are coming from the Punch newspaper. We have a story that says the US resumes full immigrant visa service in Havana. Capital market players foresee election year turbulence and recovery. And we have Pele, millions beat football, or we shall farewell. Then we have ASU protest as FG withhold union dues. And Sunu, assurances least benefit of insurance cover. Then we have a story here that says PVCs 6.7 million uncollected in 17 states. INEC targets market. Wow, it is sad that this amount of PVCs have not been collected. with elections drawing closer, there was, a voter registration exercise recently for those people who have attained the age of 18 since last election. There was a voter registration that was done, and these people have not gone to collect their PVCs. If you are not going to collect your PVCs, please try and go. Please make sure you make time to go and collect your PVCs. It is your power to effect change in this country. You have to get your PVC to effect the change. It is the power that you have as a citizen of this country to effect change. Please try. Make out time to go and collect your PVCs. It is very important. Then we have a story that says Lagos student lost colleagues in a hotel. We have other stories that says murdered couple son found tied and drowned. Oh, that's very sad. That's really sad. That's sad. So let's see. Let's see what other stories we have. Let's look at the political story here. Obasanjo's decision would affect Tinubu. That's coming from APC chieftain. We have a story that says Makinde absent as Oyo PDP plans strategic rally. Makinde is the governor of Oyo State, and he is among the G5 governors who have refused to support their party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar over his refusal to ask the party chairman to step down. Then we have another story here that says Senator threatens to sue Oshun over false reports. Then the story here says PDP raises concern as Clark Autumn endorse Obi. Then the story here says PDP wants G5 governors back. That's coming from Governor Devi of Bayelsa State. Bayelsa State is in Nigeria, is an oil producing state, and it's currently a PDP state. And the governor there is saying that the PDP wants the G5 governors back. Then the story here says Nigeria worth fighting for, says Obi's wife, Margaret. Then another story says no Nigerian has the right to dominate others. That's coming from Tinubu. Then also here says updated Makinde and loyalists absent at Oyo press conference for Atiku. So those are the major stories on the front page of a Punch newspaper. Let's see the stories we have on the Nation's newspaper. Well, we have a story here that says INEC underage voters parents will be arrested for electoral fraud. That's coming from INEC. Then we have a story here that says Sanwo-Olu promises impactful governance, steadfast leadership. That's coming from Lagos State, and Sanwo-Olu, who is the governor of Lagos State. Then 2023, how far can Kola Abiola go? Kola Abiola is the son of MK Abiola, who is the presumed winner of the elections in 1992-93 elections. The son is a presidential candidate of the People's Redemption Party, and so there's a question that is saying how far can Kola Abiola go in these elections. Then we have a story that says Lagos can NLC chairs back Tinubu and Sanwo-Olu. Then I have a story that says Sanwo-Olu a unique style of campaign. Then and also it says insecurity, the case for state police by Mogunu. Yeah, this issue of state police, I really don't know. Well, I feel that state police is very important. I feel that it is necessary for us to have state police because there's no way the police as we have it today can be very effective. I'm saying this in the sense that you cannot know a terrain, you cannot know the geography of a particular area more than the yes. You cannot know the geography of a particular area more than the residents of that area. You cannot know the geography and the terrain more than the residents. And so, um, when we have policemen who are from a particular place, when a crime occurs, they know the terrain, they know how to track down criminals and people who do evil. So there's no way an outsider will know that terrain and know how to track, people who commit crime and people who do bad things. So it is very important that we have state police. Let me know what you think about state police. A lot of people have said that state police will be misused by governors. That once we have state police, that the governors, will misuse state police to oppress, their opponents. They do have a point, but if we're able to build strong institutions, then we can have the state, the head of the state police saying no to the governor. If we have that, we can have the head of state police saying no when the governor is asking him to do things that are not proper. So, no matter how you look at it, we must start from somewhere. You must create the state police and now focus on building, policing so that the state police becomes strong, so that the governors are no longer able to wield influence and use them for bad things like, oppressing their opponents during elections. So that's my opinion. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, it is stay safe and bye bye.